can write you a check, or we can have the funds deposited directly into your account, whichever you'd prefer.
Oh, I'm so grateful, Edward, that you're willing to give me $10,000, no questions asked, but,
Well, you know, there's plenty more if you need it. As long as you do your part.
See, that's just it. Living in this house in exchange for a loan, and it is a loan, isn't gonna work. I just moved in with Nikolas.
That's why I want you here.
You've been very kind, Edward. I just don't understand how a loan freely given with no strings attached.
No strings.
Somehow turned into you trying to run my life.
You know something, my dear? I wish that you had had the opportunity to grow up in this house with Emily. That way you'd know how the Quartermaines do things. You see, I look at you as my granddaughter just as I looked at Emily. And I'm just as interested in your future as I was in hers. I want you to have a good, productive life, and I want you to be happy. And that will never happen with Nikolas Cassadine.
With all due respect, Mr. Quartermaine, you don't know that.
Oh, I do, my dear. I never wanted Emily to become involved with Nikolas in the first place. He's descended from a long line of inbred, murderous lunatics, and in the brief time she was with him, she was assaulted and terrorized. He was the reason she was in that godforsaken castle that night that she died, and our Emily gave up her life, literally, for the love of Nikolas Cassadine, and I will not allow you to do it.
Since when is that your call to make? I'm so sorry, Edward. I have a quick temper. I'm sure Emily never yelled at you like that.
Oh, on the contrary. Emily could shout down this entire family if the situation warranted. But, you know, it might be kind of nice to have this kind of spunk in this house once again.
Oh, well, my situation is different from Emily's. She fell in love with Nikolas when she was a teenager, and I'm an adult. Yeah, I'm going into this with eyes wide open.
My dear, I'm afraid you haven't lived in Port Charles long enough to know what you're getting into with Nikolas.
Oh, are you talking about the grandmother? I'm not afraid of her.
You should be. That whole family is unstable. Nikolas could snap like that in just a second. He has spent months wandering around that mausoleum mourning for the death of Emily. The only reason he looked at you is you look so much like her.
I understand that a part of Nikolas is always going to be in love with Emily, but he has feelings for me, too.
He wouldn't have looked at you twice if you weren't her identical twin.
Maybe that's true, Edward, but we deserve a chance to see if our relationship can go anywhere.
Oh, that was a very fine argument. It was well-reasoned, it was effective, and the emotion was nice. But if you want that $10,000, you're going to move into this house.
Hello.
So Alfred said you wanted to see me?
Afraid so. What'd you think of Lulu trying to get the family together last night at Jake's?
I'm sorry, Ethan. I don't mean to be rude, but I do have a full schedule today.
Right, of course you do. It's about Rebecca.
Well, I'm not interested in discussing Rebecca with you.
I don't blame you for being territorial. You know, she's a very pretty girl. She's also very good at 5-card. She plays a mean game of blackjack. Not even I can beat her. But see, Rebecca has a problem saying what she really wants. So I'm here to do that for her.
Oh, I feel terrible about this, Edward. I've barely gotten to know you. And I'm already asking for a loan. And moving in.
And we will be so happy to have you.
You know, this is going to prove that I'm a gold digger in Tracy's head.
At the rate that Tracy has allowed Luke to leech off this family, she has no room to talk. But you're not like Luke. You're a lady of fine quality. You're passionate and you're sincere. And this is why you deserve better than Nikolas Cassadine. He has nothing left to give. He's still in mourning.
He's moving on. He says he's going to let go.
Oh, sure, that's what they all say. Listen, dear, my lovely wife, Lila, passed away 5 years ago yesterday.
I'm sorry.
Nah, she would have liked you. She always looked at the best in people, tried to get the finest out of them. I suppose I'll never really stop grieving for her. But in my own experience, I know that Nikolas is in no condition to fall in love with you or with anyone else. And I will not allow him to soothe his grief at your expense.
Well, I really appreciate your concern, Edward.
We'll expect you and your luggage tomorrow afternoon.
I hope Alfred made you comfortable while you were waiting.
He did indeed. New Zealand lamb. I was half joking when I asked for it, but I'll be damned if the old codger showed up 10 minutes later with this. It's a perfect lamb Sammy.
I'll be sure and pass along the compliment. I do apologize for the delay, but I need some time to consider your request.
Well, no worries, mate.
And seeing as we're part of the same family, in a way, we'll be seeing more of each other, I'm sure. I know Lulu's very fond of you. Lucky may have his issues, but I don't see why you and I should have tension.
Right, me neither. You know, I'd like to be straight up about everything.
Oh, and I agree. Which is why I want to be clear when I say that I think you're out of line for coming here and requesting money on Rebecca's behalf.
You're never gonna believe what just happened. What's going on? What are you doing
It
here?
seems that Ethan is very interested in looking out for you.
I'm assuming you mean well, but it's completely inappropriate for you to ask Nikolas for money on my behalf.
Well, I was trying to be discreet. I mean, I know how much you like to play cards, and I appreciate how good you are, even if your boyfriend doesn't. Well, I just thought maybe... I mean, I know you're uncomfortable asking Nikolas to stay here, so...
Right, so you take it on yourself to ask him.
Right? I didn't see the harm in it. You know, keeping it in the family and all that. I thought you might even appreciate me trying to do something that you can't seem to be able to do.
If there's a game I want to play, I'll just buy my own way in.
Are you sure you want to play it that way?
Very sure.
Fair enough. Sorry to have bothered you. And, thanks for lunch.
You know, the more I get to know him, the more I don't like him.
Yeah, I'm sure he's just trying to round up money to impress Luke. Just glad you got rid of him.
So yeah, the changes so far are just superficial, but I'd like to get your opinion on a complete remodel. I definitely need some more light throughout here, so I was thinking about adding a bank of windows on the east gallery. What do you think?
Don't do any of this for my sake. I can't stay.
What? What do you mean? You just moved in here.
Quartermaines.